Good afternoon, 25th of March 21, disruption, 51, data protection. The contracts of data protection agencies, which we are obliged to sign, have ways of areas of improvement. Now, in what respect? First of all, most of them provide a platform, online and web services that you can update your company and verify the risk bracket. Now, this is very important from the 2% risk of income towards the lowest. Now, for example, Vodafone has just had 8 million fine from Data Protection Agency. Of course, they will then have to go to trial to fight for this fine. I repeat, 8 million euros. And then if we want to defend on behalf of Vodafone, I assume that perhaps the more audits we made about this and the more proof we had, and also the more third-party reports we could show in this defending corrective measure of a fine of 8 millions, I guess that Vodafone would be better off. But then the damage is done, the reputation is done. So how can we avoid this and really transform the data protection in our companies and disrupt this sector? Well, if you are a judge and you're listening to this video, please let's get our acts together, because justice works correctively but not preventively. Therefore, if Vodafone could have shown that they had done these measures to prevent, then perhaps it was one act of, let's say, huge risk that was outside of Vodafone, so then the fine could not be so big. And this is the main disruption 51 area we're talking about. Now, how can we do that? Okay, first of all, it's very important that all the workers understand the importance about this. Most of the times it will not be a direct risk, but it will be indirect risk. So in order to find out the indirect, which are 10 times bigger than the direct ones, therefore we have to first go to the direct. Once we are acquainted of the risk in our direct area of competence, then we can disrupt the rest by just focusing in the risk that we have in our contracts, in our databases, in our personal private information, address, names, telephones. So it's very important, all the contracts, and to verify by all the new personnel that are rotating in the companies nowadays very, very fast. And then should we make these internal audits, then we face the disruption. The real disruption area is that you sign these suppliers data protection contracts, and then when you tell them, please go and audit me, they say, oh well, that's 400 euros per company. So imagine you have 10 companies, 4,000, imagine you have one company, 400. So if you're a small, let's say, shop that you're selling bread, for example, then you have to pay 400. So that means that I have to sell, I don't know, 1,000 breads to have a 400 profit, which I have to put it towards this. And if you are a judge and you're listening to this video, do you think this is right? Or do you think we can make the contracts go preventive and therefore avoid all these small and medium companies throughout the world, but at the same time targeting, focusing in prevention and direct plus indirect? I think, Judge, this is a very important matter, because after reviewing myself these contracts of data protection, of course, I thought, what could I provide to the followers and to the world into disrupting? That's what I love doing. And yeah, I found out that should I ask for this audit, then of course, the data protection supplier company says that these reports must be made by lawyers, specialists in data protection, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, well, if I have a person pointing a gun to my brain, do I have to wait for this report, whether it is a very big risk of data protection fine or not? Well, this is a problem. It's better I start running and then I find out no is no, which is the risk? Is that person shouting at me, or is that person, which is the bracket? Now, I believe it would be a disruption if data protection companies would send a report of this risk bracket to companies. Because if they tell me, hey, Jose, there is someone pointing a gun to you, or there is someone telling you, oh, Jose, I don't like this, well, this is the risk that I have to fight with. And therefore, if all the companies in the world would be informed about the risk, yes, because all the contracts, dear Judge, are made today, as far as I see, after reading them, just to benefit one lawyer to another lawyer. And I know that you, Judge, are a dear lawyer. Therefore, you really like very much what lawyers write, and you read what lawyers write. But a person that sells bread is really worried about providing the best services, the best utilities to society, to the family, and should not really be worried about what do I have to read and did I understand something, apart from now 400. That is the corrective measure, the disruptive measure for starters that we could really get into. And I recommend all the lawyers in the world that start thinking very much about this penal prevention, consultancy reports of third parties, which finally judges are taking as final, final decisions for the sentences, sorry, because it is very, very important that we start making things easy for the planet. I believe this disruption is only just a little thing, but it's a huge for that. A small company selling bread is a huge step for humanity, and that they are informed what risk they have in data protection. Whilst the same thing we could apply to health prevention, whilst the same thing, which I will make more videos later, they could apply to quality prevention, and the same thing they could apply to accounting prevention instead of having the Inquisition sending fines, and the labor prevention instead of having the same Social Security Inquisition for whether I did put this contract today, 25th of March, and the worker started yesterday. But yesterday I did not have a pen. But it doesn't matter, 400 euros. Come on, Judge, let's disrupt this data protection first. Then I will send you some more in a minute so that you can really disrupt this. If we did have this bracket of risk of data protection, then if we did have this report of this lawyer that needs to be a lawyer, I guess it is very important so another lawyer can read and understand. I guess for that they need to do some writing and reading and thinking. But if the humans like me are in the business of crew management or selling bread, or yes, we cannot be bothered with all these letters. Simply just what is the risk and how we eliminate preventively. If this was for free in this price I'm paying for the supplier, then of course you, Judge, will have not need to work today to provide any sentences. It would be a beautiful day. You can enjoy the day of today, or you can disrupt another area. Thank you very much indeed. Bye.